Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Star Trek The Next Generation, on Sega Genesis, or Star Trek Dreams of the Raven. Do I play or do I read? Hello there, you're probably thinking, like, what is going on here? Well, today is another bit of a sort of editorial, but before we get into today's discussion, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the other stuff to keep the videos going. Anyway. So today we're looking at what would be considered a controversial topic in the fandom known as Star Trek, and in this case it is Trekkie or Trekker. And like most people, like say before, like I started watching this stuff, I never really knew that there was two distinct things. I thought the main thing was Trekkie. But there's also another one known as Trekker. So, and the Oxford Dictionary has a bit of a definition for the word Trekker. A devoted or enthusiastic fan of Star Trek. And it is sometimes used in preference to a Trekkie, to like say that who is more of a serious or committed fan. Although when I was doing this research, there has been a bit of confusion and like what's the difference and all that stuff. Apparently, like, some people don't really believe that like Trekkie is not acceptable to the serious fans in a way. Which makes me think, like, say, is Trekkie a way to talk to the noobs? Since, this show has been a journey with a new Trekkie. Apparently, they say some details is, apparently in 1967, media reports on a Star Trek convention acknowledged two types of fans. One, a Trekkie came up by and was basically explain what he thought a Trekker was. Basically a rational fan is what he said. Whereas he said a Trekkie worships everything connected with Star Trek, and that's not my words. Was still his or her mother for a pair of Spock ears. I mean, I'm not that crazy. I mean, I'm probably a newbie. I mean, yeah, that's just how I see myself. I'm just watching the show and all that and just consuming the media. It's not like I'm gonna go crazy and say, like if I saw a Star Trek, thing, and then thought like, wait, why wasn't there no notification of mud in the show? Why wasn't there, like, say, a reference to X, Y, or Z in the new show? And all that. Heck, even there has been a film in this case, Trekkies, that try to discuss, like, say, the whole divide between the two. Apparently, Kate Mulgrew stated that Trekkers are, basically, like, in her quote, she said that Trekkers are the ones walking with us, while the Trekkies are the ones content to simply sit and watch Star Trek. And yeah, so I mean, I'm still honestly a bit confused in all this, and that so are Trekkies the ones that are just like say, hey, we'll watch the show and we're not going to be absolutely obsessed, or is it the other way around where a Trekkie is going to watch the show and then they'll say, hey, I'm having fun with this and all that? I mean, I guess if you're a new Trekkie, you're basically just getting into it. You're new to the whole thing. There's also a second film, which was Trekkies 2. Like, apparently during the film, a fan had recounted a supposed incident during the Star Trek convention where Gene Roddenberry used the term Trekkies to describe fans of the show, only to be corrected by a fan and stood up and yelled, Trekkers. Basically, Roddenberry says, no, it's Trekkies. I should know. I invented the thing. So, yeah, I mean, he kind of, yeah, I mean, and honestly, yeah, Gene Roddenberry did kind of say, yeah, I invented the show. I think I have an idea what the fan base would be called. And yeah, that kind of makes sense, in honesty. I mean, I feel like it's kind of hard to say. I feel like this whole discussion was like, say, back in like say the in the 80s and the 90s, how like say geek, nerd, and all that. Like say then you had the comic book nerds and all that stuff, or the comic book geek, where one would be like say the comic book nerd would be someone who just like probably would like really likes comics and all that, or you have the basic comic book fan and all that. And yeah, I kind of can see it that way, like say geek versus nerd and all that. Where like say a geek is probably just like say more like, you know, like has a certain style and all that. So but yeah, I mean, it's I really kind of like in a way kind of confused by all this. But heck, there's even a like say you'd probably think that the entire Star Trek franchise would have like say, oh, each iteration of it is like say Trekkies, Trekkers. Well, apparently, Deep Space Nine is actually the Niners. So yeah, I think that's actually pretty cool. Makes a lot more sense than since, you know, Star Trek Deep Space Nine is quite different than the other iterations of the show. And there is actually quite a lot of like say fans like Trekkies that are actually fans of Star Trek that you probably wouldn't find like, wow, really? Some notable ones would be in this case would be like good great Canadian kid Jim Carrey, Stephen Colbert, Jason Alexander, Rosario Dawson, Whoopi Goldberg, and she ends up actually being in the Next Generation. Tom Hanks. So yeah, I mean actually, yeah, when Tom Hanks is a fan of Star Trek, you know you have a pretty cool show. And there's actually quite a few a ton of influential individuals that are huge fans or Trekkies as well. Some include Mel Brooks, and heck, even Justin Lin, who directed the Fast and Furious films. Heck, even he directed one of the, like in my opinion, my favorite modern Star Trek films, Star Trek Beyond. As well as Seth MacFarlane, who had in his shows, like say American Dad, Family Guy, and The Cleveland Show, he would always have references to Star Trek. Heck, even he has his own comedy sci-fi show The Orville, which is inspired by Star Trek. So, in honesty, I kind of, in a way, kind of see the whole Trekkie versus Trekker. In my kind of view, I think it seems sort of like, say, the nerd versus geek debate in a way. Like, heck, I'd say, since I'm kind of a new Trekkie, I'd say I would kind of characterize myself as, like, say, like a person that like watches the show and like probably would like play a game from the property, but at the same time, I'm not gonna think say, well, I'm sad or upset that they changed everything involving the show or something like that. You know, perhaps I don't know. I think if like it would be like if I guess like say as I continue doing this show, maybe I'll understand perhaps where certain fans are coming from when they say, new Trek is not as good as old. But I'd say as this show goes along, perhaps I'll understand where the debate would go. Anyway, from somewhat my understanding though is the Trekker is more has more of a seems more like say a serious title for a consumer of the property, whereas Trekkie is like say more the one who will go to the conventions and all of that as well. But it both seem like Trekkie and Trekker would probably go to the conventions. But honestly, I'm starting to think that both would probably just be a title for part of the fan base. And honestly, I'm just saying, say, it just would all come down to the person, like, which one they prefer. But what do you guys think? And honestly, put your thoughts and comments down below. Am I coming at this the wrong way? And if I am, just go ahead and put your comments down below. Like, go ahead and, like, rant and say he's wrong or something like that. I would actually really like if y'all, like, give your thoughts. I'm actually would like that. So that I know people are actually, kind of watching, But, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. See you later.